Can you believe that it's already been more than a year since I covered the first season of Netflix's A Series of Unfortunate Events? Well, believe it or not, it's true. And man, what a difference a year makes. I mean, just look at that old intro I used to use. Oof. But hey, that aside, the misadventures of the Baudelaire orphans are back, and I'm pretty excited to talk about this new season. Speaking of which, if you somehow stumble upon this video and have not watched the first season of the show, or are wondering if you should, let me suggest my review of the first season so you can get yourself caught up. The link should be in the top right corner, as well as in the video description below. Anyway, with that aside, let's get started. The second season of the show consists of 10 episodes instead of 8 this time around, and covers books 5 through 9 of the series. Similar to last season, we follow the Baudelaire orphans Violet, Klaus, and Sunny as they do their best to survive the strange situations they are forced into, as well as the series of unfortunate events that the evil Count Olaf introduces to their lives. However, while outsmarting Count Olaf and his devious plans to take their fortune is still very much a focus of the show, this time around, there's a heavier emphasis on the mystery aspect of the show. While the previous season definitely showed that there was something going on in the background, this season has Violet, Klaus, and Sunny more involved in trying to clue together their parents' past and how all these strange guardians they have never met before seem to fit into the bigger picture. Featuring terrible violin recitals, parsley soda, migrating crows, heart-shaped balloons, and a pack of starving lions, this is one heck of a season that really begins to dive into the backstory of the mysterious VFD, as well as really raises the stakes for the orphans. I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just say that by the end of the season, they are deep in the belly of the beast and don't have anyone they can rely on. Now, when it comes to things I think the show does well, there are quite a few. One thing I want to give the show credit for is how it successfully continues to bring the books to life. From the characters to the locations to the dreary tone, I feel like a really good job is done in bringing the content from paper to the real world just as I imagined it. Even the 4 Beatrice dedications that you would find at the beginning of each book feel just as solemn as I imagined they should when they appear at the start of each new story arc. On the other side of that, I'm actually equally impressed with what has been changed. From characters' roles being expanded, to the inclusion of flashbacks that were never in the books, to shifting the focus sometimes to characters other than the Baudelaires, the fact that the show was able to make these changes and still make it work really impressed me. I know that there are some people who are purists and don't want one single detail changed, but at least for me, I found most of the changes to be neat, as they gave me some surprises even though I've read the books before. Another thing I want to give props to is the acting. I think that all the actors do a great job as the respective characters, and as mentioned before, really bring the books to life. However, I can't deny that Neil Patrick Harris continues to steal the spotlight as the dastardly Count Olaf, and at the range he brings to the character is quite impressive. I mean, one minute he might be hamming it up as one of Count Olaf's over-the-top disguises, and the next he's being downright sinister as he menaces the orphans with his evil schemes. The way the character bounces back and forth continues to be fun to watch. Finally, I feel it worth mentioning that the way the show continues to balance its dark subject matter and more light-hearted or comedic moments is really well done. I mean, while the show can be downright bleak with how miserable the lives of the orphans are and how all these bad things happen all around them, there's still stuff to make you laugh or at least leave you more at ease in regards to a terrible thing that has just happened. For me, it is this mix of the two that makes this show so unique. The fact that we have a show like this that is considered a children's story, yet doesn't pull its punches and being dark is fascinating. Moving on to stuff the show does that I didn't like, well, honestly, I have nothing to complain about. However, trying to put myself into the shoes of others, I do think that there are 2 things people may not like. One thing is the subplots. Similar to the side story last season showing the adventures of the mother and father trying to get home, we get various subplots involving different characters working behind the scenes to aid the Baudelaires, as well as push forward the agenda of a mysterious organization. While I like these scenes as I felt they helped give a bit of background to what is happening and flesh out the world, I can understand some people feeling they're a bit distracting or unnecessary. The other thing people may not like is the repetitive formula. Similar to last season, we follow the same formula of a new Guardian, new location, and new Count Olaf disguise for each 2 new episodes. I can see people getting bored of that, though I will say that halfway through the season, this does get shaken up, so this problem is basically taken care of. So all in all, I am glad to see the show come back, and I think that it had a pretty solid second season. It may not be perfect, but I feel that it does do the books justice, and hey, in a world of so much failed adaptations, that's quite a big deal. If you enjoyed the first season, then I think you will enjoy season 2, and if you haven't watched the series yet, then I recommend diving right in. But hey, that's just my opinion, and remember, don't take anything I say too seriously. After all, I'm just a wannabe reviewer. Thanks for watching.